Hey there, do open houses work? Even though we are in the midst of a coronavirus pandemic and Singapore has barely made it out into phase two, but I feel that these open houses have not been very effective even before the coronavirus pandemic. Yet why are agents still doing it? Hi, my name is Yasser Khan and I'm the author of Property Agency Equals Book, which is the most powerful book in the real estate industry. And I'm a no BS coach. I teach how agents how to make more money, how to have more time, how to get more freedom, how to get more yes without all the BS. So, a lot of agents out there still continue to do open houses, and why? What is the reason why open houses no longer work, even though it has nothing to do with coronavirus? I think the number one reason why agents continue doing open houses is because of the sellers. So sellers need to see, they have a need, they have a psychological need to see progress, and this causes two big problems. Sellers force realtors to advertise their listing, and what I teach my agents and what my personal experience has been is that you can never sell the house in the ad, right? What actually happens instead is you get a call on another listing, and this happens 80-90% of the time. Yet sellers are asking agents to list their house, to actually get it out there, to promote it, to advertise it, yet it doesn't work. And all sellers are also expecting agents to keep doing open house, to open their house for viewing, for for appointment, to get the buyer to come and see, come inside, yet it's not working. Why is that so? Because at the end of the day, you are only serving the customer's need, the seller's need. Actually, the seller's need for control. Seller wants to see progress. Seller wants to see things are under his control, right? So he takes control by asking agents to advertise the house and to actually do open houses, even though open houses traditionally have not been been very great at selling, right? So okay, the number one, that's the problem, right? So what is the solution to that? How do you solve this problem? How do you communicate with sellers to stop doing it? All right. So all these years ago, when I was doing when I was actively selling homes as a realtor, right, what I saw in other countries was a smarter way of doing open houses. And the traditional open house is that the seller opens the house and the agent comes in, sit down and wait for the buyer to come in, and it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work even before the virus, right? Yet because the seller keep forcing us to do things his way, that's why agent, everybody else, every agent out there still keep doing it, even though it's not very effective. And there was a better alternative that I found out all those years ago, and that alternative is actually quite simple, right? You sort of like book an appointment. It's like you convert the open house into one-to-many selling. So one-to-one selling is that you sit down with one buyer, you sit down with one prospect, and you try to sell them, right? Instead of doing that, convert open house into one-to-many selling. And how do you do that, right? There are two ways, all right? Before the virus, like what I was helping my agents do is actually fill up a bus full of all those buyer prospects who reach out to you, that they're interested in a house, they're interested in viewing, right? Fill up a bus, hire a bus, fill up a bus, and set aside one afternoon, right, in the weekend. It can be Saturday, it can be Sunday, it's up to you, right? And set aside a specific day just for open house. Fill up the bus and bring them one by one to all the houses that you have, all the listings that you have. For example, fill up a bus and show them at house A. Once that's done, basically what you're doing is sort of a mass open house, right? At one point of time, you are bringing like maybe 5 or 8 different buyers in one house, and it's over very fast in maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Then after that, you move on to the next house, you move on to the next house again and again, and you do it until all the homes have been covered, and you realize that it only took you 1 hour to show 5 or 6 homes to a group of 5 to 8 different buyers. How efficient is that? It's very, very powerful, and it's very powerful for a number of reasons. Why is that? Because all the buyers are together, right? And when they say in group dynamic, it's easier to sell one-to-one compared to one-to-one. It's easier to sell to a group. Why? Because when somebody buys, then there is intangible pressure. They feel the pressure that they want to buy again and again, right? Think about all the courses out there, all the seminars out there, and where people rush to the table at once and everybody joins them. Why is that so? Because what everybody sees, right? Everybody wants to do it, and seriously, because there is a real fear, and it's true. The fear of loss is very, very true in this case. So buyers don't want to lose out. It doesn't matter the agents say that this house is going to be selling very fast, don't miss out. Yet when it comes from the agents, right, prospects don't believe it, because prospects think that you have been saying it to everybody else, right? While the prospect has been going with getting along with their lives, getting along with their family and everything, they know that you as a salesman have been busy training, busy learning about sales tactics, how to close them, how to overcome objections. So prospects are smart, they are not dumb, right? They expect you to tell them that this property is going to sell fast, because they have been hearing the same thing from all the other agents out there. Yet when you bring them in a group, right, you are not the one doing it. It's actually happening it to them. They are the one creating all the pressure for themselves, right? You are showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses in 1 hour to a group of 5 to 8 prospective buyers, and they are the ones seeing it, right? And when they feel that okay, this property, they know that one buyer already signed, and there's a lot of pressure, right? So this is group dynamic working in your favor, and this is a much smarter way, this is a much better way, and this is how agents in the Western countries, that's how they do it, right? And the second way is actually to use an online webinar, right? So conduct an online webinar, register. This is much, I mean, nowadays in terms of the virus, right? Because of the virus, you can't have so many people, right? There are limitations on group, right? And it's easier for you to actually avoid that by going online. So you create a webinar, you choose a specific day, specific time for those prospects to come and view online, right? And when they come and view the house online, you actually register a webinar to collect their name, collect their mobile, collect their email address, all right? And then on the actual day of the webinar, on a weekend, you show them on the house. Simple as that, right? You bring along your smartphone, you go at the house, then you show around. Oh, what you can do, like how I recommend my agents do it, right? One by one, record all the houses one by one. Go to the houses before the actual day of the online virtual open house, record them one by one, use a 360 camera if you have to, otherwise just use a video on your smartphone, just capture or take photos, right? It doesn't have to be too complicated, no need to be too fancy. Just make sure that you capture the footage, and then you put it in a feed, right? And then you show one by one, and you run it. And that's how online webinar you can show 10-20 houses in just 1 hour, right? And while you're talking and all that, so make sure that you get ready all your documents online for them to sign, and and make sure you have a mechanism of showing proof, right? So for example, I and some of my agents use some software which proves that some agents book an appointment. Is easily available out there. It's so cheap, it's so affordable. So use social proof online. So online you're going to need it more, right? So when you use social proof that this book an appointment, this person book an appointment, that person just sign a deal, this person just close deal, close a sale, for example, right? So it's gonna build all the social proof in your favor, right? So this is the much more enlightened way to do open house. You do virtual open house, and you do open house where you sell one to many, which is much more efficient than the traditional way. All right, so I think that's all for now, and I hope that you like this, whatever I've been sharing with you, my strategies with you. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me questions. I always go through all the questions that agents or members ask me, and it is my pleasure to be helping as many agents as possible. All right, so be sure to subscribe to my channels, and ask me any questions if you have, and better yet, buy my book at propertyagentsecrets.com. Bye bye.